Well, thank you for joining us again. We're glad to have you here for this new edition of the Lair, where we talk all things Wildcat football. And today we're here to talk about the Lutheran North game that we just played this past Saturday.
Very complete win.
And I have to say, the first reaction I have is wow.
Yes.
That was an impressive game. And coming out of Festus St. Dominic, I anticipated a much harder game, and what we saw was yet another dominant, complete win. Luke, take us through what you saw on the offensive side of the ball on Saturday.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, it's just constant execution. What we had, I think, you and I both saw from the press box, which was just impressive in its own right. Just the holes that our offensive line just opened up. Both execution,
dominant from
totally
the beginning.
dominant. I mean, you could have run an elephant through there sideways, as I'm fond of saying, but nonetheless, people like Steve Webb, Cameron Tucker still have to execute and have the vision to see where the holes are opening up. However, both in terms of lining up and having the wide splits on the offensive line, spreads out Lutheran North, sort of creates that from the get-go, and all you have to do is get a good hit on the man across from you, and those holes just open up. Steve Webb, 20 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball. It just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Oh, yeah, and when you have your running game going, it sets up the rest of the offense. Evan Johnson had a pretty sharp game in the pocket. So on offense, all phases of the game, we were going really well.
And when we turn to the defensive side of the ball, one of the things that was striking was the first 2 possessions. For various reasons, we gave them a short field. In fact, they started in our territory, both possessions, and yet they got no points. So tell us, on those possessions, tell us what you saw in terms of our defense.
That was one of those times where I was hoping that one of my keys to the game last week wasn't coming true. Where I said, beware of the quick strike.
The quick strike, it looked that way.
It looked that way. We had our backs to the wall. And in retrospect, we needed a situation like that. We hadn't really faced anything of that nature against either Festus or St. Dominic. And so to get that pushback early on from Lutheran North really brought out the best in our defense. Once we did that and gave our offense time to get gas in the tank, things really started clicking. And then once defensive-wise, we started figuring out their system, saw some tendencies on the offensive line, how they might block depending if it was a run or a pass. I think that's when you saw the defense just pouring in. We had a number of tackles for loss, and that's a combination of good technique, but also great pursuit to the ball.
And even beyond simply containing their offense, our defense actually scored twice in that first half, turned an interception into a touchdown, and then Steve Webb stripped a receiver,
the
ran
rip
70
six.
yards.
We're copywriting that term, by the way.
Pulled it out and ran 70 yards, and just as impressive running the ball on defense as he is on offense, went to the house.
It's true. When your defense has scored only 1 fewer touchdown this stage of the season they've given up, you're in a very good position. 19 points overall. We've given up in 3 games. This defense is really the heart and soul of the team. Offense can come and go, and we've seen that at different points during the first 3 games, but defense should be a constant, and we're seeing that in spades on that side of the ball.
And you mentioned the 19 points. We've scored 15 touchdowns. We've only given up 3, and all 3 have been at the end of the game.
Yes.
After all of our scoring in those games were done. So really, effectively, our defense has pitched 3 shutouts until the game was decided, and only then allowed a single touchdown. And
in very what we call IT, inconsequential time, where it really doesn't make a difference. And in many cases, we're getting other people in there for the experience. And in that case, giving up a touchdown isn't the worst sin in the book.
And as we wrap this up, I wanted to say, and we talked about this before the show, I've been at Westminster for a while, have seen my fair share of Westminster football games. Lutheran North games just don't go like that. I mean, they're usually a tough team. They were a good team.
Athleticism.
We just might be that good, and it's exciting to see what this team is capable of.
We were at a great level last year, but we really feel like we left that level a long time ago, and now we are moving into elite phase.
Well, when we come back next time, we're going to preview the MICDS game, which is this Saturday at 2 o'clock. Do note that time change. It's a late start for the ACT, but we hope to see everybody there at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and come back and join us in the Lair to talk about MICDS.
There we go. We'll see you.